welcome to this show, which is arguably the greatest cricket comedy-based show featuring comedians called Sorabh. I know there may be competitors out there who are trying to poach this great talent called me, but this is the best show of all time. Thank you so much for tuning in. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's good in life. I am in a full chaos mode today because it's I have a flight to catch at 1:30. Woke up early, got the kids ready, doing this live, taking a flight, landing in Bangalore, doing a show. It's going to be an exciting day. It's going to be one of those days where, like, if my flight is 12 minutes late, then no, actually my show will be fine. I'm landing at 3:30. It's all good. Hope everybody's good. Mirror says call Jemima to the streams. I have genuinely tried to get Jemima, Shifali Verma, Smriti Mandhana. I think I should get Jhulan Goswami, man. I think that would be like really great fun. Jhulan Goswami, I mean, just the history of all of it, man. Like, she's literally the history and present of women's cricket. So would do that. Do give a like if you can. I have a guest coming up shortly. Just give a like so that we the sort of algorithms kick in, because we must defeat the algorithms, to quote Bhaskar. Where are mods? Guys, like the stream, says Mirror. Appreciate it. Vignesh Raman says late OP. Somebody says Chawal Roti. Somebody says late OP. Where is your topi? Here is my topi, my friend. Vignesh Raman, I'm on target. Lots to discuss about yesterday's match, man. It was a very exciting game. I have a few notes about how I hate spider cams. I genuinely have a problem with this stupid spider cam. I don't understand. Listen, I'm going to get Jamie and talk about this shortly. So before that, what I say, I'm going to be in Bangalore tonight. I'm doing a show at a place called Boho, which is, I think, in Whitefield. Tomorrow I'm going to be at Vapor. Day after tomorrow, I am going to be at Aurum Brewworks. And next week, I'm going to be in Delhi, Gurgaon. And hopefully the Noida show will also happen. And then after that is Hyderabad. So please, tickets are on sorabh.com. So please head over there. Now, a lot of people have also asked me, hey, when is Unnamed coming? Well, I have answered all your prayers. I have spoken to many gods. And the gods I mean are WhatsApp, and coordinated with Unnamed. She's going to be here tomorrow. So that's going to be a fun one, because tonight, and it works perfectly, because tonight is CSK versus RCB. And I just hope Chennai loses so I can annoy Unnamed. That's my great dream in life. Atulya says hilarious thumbnail after yesterday. So yeah, I would say please come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. For Unnamed. We're going to have a slightly long chat. I think it's going to go on for probably 1.5 to 2 hours. We'll try and get all your chats, everything in. So yeah, that's going to be super fun. A lot of people are talking about Venkatesh Iyer. We will talk extensively about Venkatesh Iyer. Okay. That's about it. If you want to become a member, become a member. If you don't, don't. And if you want to be a subscriber, please be a subscriber. I'll tell you who else is coming. Tomorrow's Unnamed. On Monday, Sohail Chandok. 29th, genuinely delighted to have Kate Cross and Alex Hartley. And lots of other people are going to be popping in, coordinating with a lot of people, including comedians, etc., etc. Okay, without further ado, please give it up for my guest, one of my favorite guests on this show, or any show for that matter. Any show he's on, he's my favorite guest. Even when he's with Harsha Bhogle, I'm like, Harsha, this is Jamie Alter. Please give it up for Jamie Alter, everybody. Let's see this wonderful man's beautiful face, the glory of this beautiful face full of all the history, the epoch. Is that a word?
I believe so. I think my English is worse than yours, Sorabh. Go around pe mat jao. I think largely in. Actually, I don't know what language I think in, because I don't think very much. But lovely to see you again, Sorabh, and glad to see you smiling despite Mumbai Indians losing 2 matches.
अरे मुझे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
Good. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
I'm just excited to listen, man. That this like, as a bowler, okay, I would be so pissed to see Venkatesh Iyer do that. Like the thing he does in the middle. I'm like, भाई रे, अभी कोशिश कर रहा है, तू ऐसे क्या flick कर रहा है?
And he just did it so calmly. Like, you've obviously watched the IPL like me for years. You get these players, which I mean, taking nothing away from them. Obviously, they tick a lot of boxes to get where they are. But if you don't watch domestic cricket or follow it, they do come like, yaar, ye banda kaun hai? Ye itna lamba hai. The guy's tall as well, no? Fir flick quick. Then you find out more about them, that he's done an MBA, IIM. He's one of those Varun Chakravarti type guys. You think, chalo, theek hai, ek match mein chal gaya. But then he does it twice. And then yesterday, I mean, Bumrah, first ball, Trent bowled, but chakka mara. Fantastic to watch these guys, man.
No, it was so interesting because जब वो पहला मैच खेला तो उस टाइम भी मैं सोचा कि भाई अगर ये लोग बाउंसर डालेंगे तो अच्छा टेस्ट होगा इसका. And Bolt did it in the first ball and Iyer is like, I knew this was coming. See you later.
Bilkul. And you just standing there, even the first match, standing like, remember Sadagopan Ramesh? Probably not many people do. But he would stand there on debut, Jabita 97, 98, Wasim Akram and Waqar Yunus. It took them a while to figure out, isko hame bouncer dalna chahiye. For the first 40 minutes, they just put the ball in the length and Ramesh just stood there and drove on the rise. This guy was doing the same thing. So yeah, really, really fun to watch some new face, despite all this stuff.
Yeah, but one thing I don't understand is यार इन लोग को confidence कहाँ से आती है? Like he's about 23, 24 or something. Like I don't remember. Like I'm 40 and I'm still constantly questioning myself. Like I've never even entered stage gone like, yeah, man, let's do this. Like where do these people get this confidence from?
It's a fascinating thing to watch, and I've had these discussions. I was doing another YouTube stream during the England series, and all the former players that are there. This topic invariably came up, okay, where are our young guys getting it from? Most of them just said, actually, despite the flack that the IPL gets, this is largely comes from that. Now, I get the fact that Iyer has never played the IPL, but he's been around players who come in, come out. It's just this new Indian thing, and people like you and me who, despite the fact, whatever the odds are, you have like my wife keeps saying, like Gabba test, Arey, India jeetega. I'm like, no, we've seen 120 chases flop. Until the winning run is hit or it's one run away, I frankly don't have hope. But these guys aren't like you and I, Sorabh. They have some innate thing, Naya India shining, whatever term you want to throw, it's in these guys. And hats off to Venkatesh Iyer, yeah.
So I was talking to DDG, aka Deepdas Gupta, and he said ki when I played that first test match in South Africa against South Africa, and imagine the situation where he's like मैं पूरे टाइम वो स्पीड टेस्ट देखते रह रहा था कि यहाँ पर भाई 145 में खेला मस्त. And I'm like, dude, so that's the first time for somebody like Deepdas Gupta in the history of his cricket career to play somebody at that pace, whereas a lot of these people seem to have done that before, hence the confidence.
Yeah, exactly. So they're playing like you might not get your IPL first game until this year, but you've been in the nets, you faced these guys, and sort of at the end of the day, what has the IPL done? Whatever we can say about it, it has given the bench strength to Indian cricket, like the Sri Lanka series or the Gabba test, all these guys, second rate B team, whatever you want to call it, it's still a damn good team. I know they lost to Sri Lanka, but that's because all of a sudden 8 guys because of Krunal Pandya had to go to isolation, right? That team that Shikhar Dhawan led, these are all guys who faced fast bowlers from around the world. I mean, like imagine you're Iyer, Pat Cummins, you probably faced Pat Cummins in the net, you faced Lockie Ferguson in the net. Uske baad उसमें क्या फर्क है? Trent Boult is bowling to you, मैं मारेगा, मैं करके आया. It's there, man. It's there, and I think whatever, and like every phase goes, the Dravids, Tendulkar, Sorabh, Sehwag, they went. Kohlis will go, Rahanes will go, but these new guys that will come, I genuinely believe, and I'm a real skeptic most times, I genuinely believe that these guys have it enough to take Indian cricket even further.
And we've not seen him bowl yet. We've not seen him bowl. Apparently, like doubles up as a bowler. I'm like, मतलब ये तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है. Okay, I would love to ask you your opinion because this created a minor controversy on my YouTube members group, which is Sunil Narayan player of the match.
Look, I also had a similar feeling. I assumed that it was going to go to Rahul Tripathi ka Lathi.
Yeah.
But then I saw it, after 7-8 minutes. Now, on the one hand, it's good because normally batsmen do walk away with these awards. But again, you think 1 for 20. His start, I think his first over, Narayan went for 11 odd runs.
Yeah.
Little bit surprising, but I'm just glad to see that it did go to a bowler because frankly, the batsmen get all the credit. But then, what is someone like Rahul Tripathi feeling? Boss, main itna run mara, main thoka. I also got it there. But chalo theek, I mean, I don't think enough spinners also get these awards. You can also argue, sort of, what do these awards actually matter for, right? Theek hai, de do, shabash.
वैसे भी they're distributed amongst everybody, the amount. So it's like
it's a token gesture.
Yeah, but like it's मतलब ये रोहित शर्मा की विकेट की बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यू है मतलब like it's worth the player of the match. So next match somebody gets Rohit Sharma out and they'll be like भाई मुझे नहीं ये तो cheating हो गई रे. Okay, if people are watching, please do give a like. I know more and more people are popping in. Do give a like. We have a lot to discuss about yesterday's match, today's match, just general stuff. Couple of super chats popping in. Let's read them. Nilesh Yadav, thanks a lot, says, Sorabh sir, please bring UV on the show. Big fan. Brother, अगर मैं ला सकता तो I would, यार. It's pretty hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. Shubhajit Barik says, read an ESPN Crick Info article. Venkatesh Iyer said, I'm seriously good in studies, but I cannot say the same about my cricket. Yeah, I thought that was quite nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Okay, we have a couple of things that let's analyze yesterday's match a little bit. You know what I really enjoyed was second ball of the chase, Gill's shot of Bolt. Because that shot he probably wouldn't have played in India. Matlab achanak se he suddenly like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going for it.
Yep. He would not have played that shot anywhere, Sorabh. The main problem that I've had with Gill, look, you look at the guy, you know that his ladke mein talent hai. We've seen it from the under-19 ranks. But somehow, look at the last two IPLs, the first half in India and last year in 2020, he wasn't doing much. Either he'd get out early or he'll get to 18, 19, and he wouldn't do anything. These shots, by the time he was playing these shots, he'd inside edged and swat and missed so many. But now in two matches, we've seen him early on play these shots. So it's very good from a KKR perspective, just for the fans. You don't want guys like him getting bogged. Whatever, the team might have a plan for you. Boss, too short khel sakta hai. And I really believe that Shubman Gill, he's actually one of India's brightest prospects across formats. But when you see him getting bogged down, like the last two seasons, khelo. And maybe this goes back to what Brendan McCullum said, recently, we have to go out there and play without fear. A lot of these coaches get paid to drop these one-liners from Bruce Willis. Like, it's like the lines of Bruce Willis rejected lines. But chalo, use karte hain. But really good to see that bit of extra aggression in Gill early on in the power play.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And I think people keep incorrectly saying that a lot of the credit goes to Brendan McCullum. I think the credit goes to that Gillette ad. Because listen, I mean, I'm thinking about myself, like to do an ad like that where you're like showing your torso and everything. And again, I'm not objectifying. I'm just generally saying like that requires a lot of confidence. And once that ad comes out there, you start getting people saying, brother, you killed it in this ad. He's like, you know what? I can go down the track and hit Bolt for a six.
Something has worked. Something, if that's what it takes, karo, do it, man.
Yeah.
Because they need that kind of Gill firing.
Yeah. You know what? I was trying to remember, like every time I see Shubman Gill, I remember the crack of his bat when he hit that 4, I think, of Pat Cummins in the test. Because us time stadium mein koi nahi tha, and it still echoes because it was the best sound I have heard of a cricket bat in like years.
Yeah.
I was like,
And again, I think that's what that tour showed, though I still I'm not convinced that Gill is actually a test opener. I think he's probably better off in the middle order once Virat sort of gets phased out. But that way he played there, and even there was one shot when he got that 90 on, he pulled Pat Cummins in that spell where I think India scored like 24 runs in 2 overs. Tough. So ladka aisa khelta hai. There's definitely something there which says he's got 10 years of top flight cricket in him.
Yeah, big fan. You, by the way, said something controversial right now. When they phase out Virat Kohli, how can you say such a thing?
Hasn't it already started?
Has it started? What do you make of all this? Going. Yeah, what do you make of all this? Because it seems like Jesh और इसके बीच में कुछ Twitter battle चालू है. Where he's like, तेरे से पहले मैं ही कर लेता हूँ. Like, what do you think is? Do you think they're actually phasing him out of?
No, look, I don't think it's actually. It's not the team. But look, this had to happen, right? Kohli has set such freakishly awesome levels of his batting that when we go 2 years almost and we don't see him get 100, we think, out of form. Out of form to nahi hai. It's just the standards he set, right? And of course, we have to factor in that there was a lot of months lost to the pandemic. But I just think it's Virat Kohli realizing, hey, boss, I'm 32 now. History says that a batsman's peak ages are from 30 to 34. 2 saal ho gaye. Us 2 saal mein mera nahi chala. Then he's watching someone like Root, who at 30, what was Root's main? What's been all the experts, all the pundits, people like us? What's been the gripe with Root? Acha hai, top form, but his conversion rate is like pathetic, right? Now he's got like 1,500 runs this year. He got 4 double hundreds. So I think somehow Kohli saw, yaar, jab ye Root kar sakta hai, what can I do to just get rid of some baggage? India hardly play 9 to 10 T20s in a year, right? And to be fair to Kohli, from day one, he's as captain, he said, yeah, Test cricket is the biggest thing for me, which is a good thing. That's not a fluff statement. He genuinely likes that format. He's taken India a long way. He probably lets yeah, dekho, kuch hai nahi. Now, what, 3 days after he gives up India's T20 captaincy, he gives up RCB captaincy. That to me, and RCB fans are going to hate me, it's a good thing for you guys. Salah Cup Namada, you know, that thing and all. Virat Kohli, 9 years he's been captaining. Tell me any other job, we've all been to that corporate thing. Kare cut gaya bhai, aapka 9 saal mein aapka koi title nahi hai, right? Something has to happen. So I'm glad that he's getting rid of literally the 2 least important things in the Virat Kohli hemisphere. And I think you'll see that Virat Kohli come back the way we've all wanted him to see him score run. I said it on your show first, so there you go.
I completely agree. I think like it's like with you, like the Joe Root example is such an interesting example, and also like with all of these players, right, who've had these tremendously long and successful careers, you have to have the ups and downs, and you have to have, because that's what like listen, if I was I became a fan of Kohli oddly enough, like I think a couple of years back. Till then I was like, hey, great, like, but I started liking him as a person because I started seeing what he was doing with his teammates and all that stuff that you don't see. I think because of social media, one thing that's happened is you start seeing these people as people also. And I completely agree. I think it's going to be, getting rid of, as you said, when you think about it, it's actually the T20 captaincy after the World Cup is not really going to matter much. RCB will find somebody, I'm sure. Abhi auction mein kisi ko kharidenge captain ke liye.
And in saying that I'm going to be giving up the RCB captaincy ahead of this mega auction, Kohli's ensured that he's also not going anywhere, right? And the team needs him. I mean, Virat Kohli, the batsman, is outstanding. And good thing, Sorabh, you raised about, you know, how batsmen go through these slumps. 2014, that terrible England tour where he averaged like 10 something, usko bhul jao, because Virat Kohli was still finding himself, right? Since that tour, I think whatever changes he did, I read this stat on Cricket from 2015 to 19, before this pandemic came, the guy's averaging like 92 or something, right? So there had to come that, and it's like I said, it's not even like a bad phase, it's just a drop in the high standards. And if that's your only drop in what, 6-7 years, that's bloody good as a batsman. So big fan of Kohli.
Yeah, he needs to do a Gillette ad, is all I'm going to say.
Card do, card do, dekh lo.
हाँ. नहीं पर वो शेप के लिए भी करते हैं ना, तो मस्त है like
वो भी कर लो और भी रन बढ़ेंगे.
Okay, I got to talk about 2 things that and we'll come back to the match. I got to talk about 2 things that seem to really annoy me on the side. I think we've spoken about this before. I don't remember. There are 2 things that I think we need to stop doing in IPL and in cricket, at least for the next 4-5 months. One thing, though, I think we should just stop. The first thing, which really irritates me, is this fucking spider cam. I hate this goddamn thing. Because every time I see it, I'm like, dude, this is literally you're waiting for a World Cup final moment in this. Abhi kisi ko 6 run chahiye hoga, us pe lagega, then you'll have to replay. It's absolute. Dude, I'm not like, if I see a spider cam shot, I'm not like sitting at home and going like kya feel like it's just.
I agree with you. It's you can call it a gimmick or something they have to try. It really offers you little as a viewer, and I've always felt this. It's something they have to do, whatever the reason is. Yeah, I see, because it's bound to happen. We've seen so many players, catches going up, kuch laga, kuch hila, and like you said, if it happens in a knockout match, what are you going to do? You're going to have egg on your face. You're going to have a lot of stuff on your face. So I agree with you. Kuch calm. Yes, between Spider-Man and Rishabh Pant, we have more than enough to talk about with the spiders in them here.
I mean, the only way that would work is if you have Rishabh Pant flying over the thing. That's a shot.
With him, anything is possible with that guy. I love that guy, man. I'm a big fan of him. Anything is possible with him. You saw that day, right? He batted in the first 6-7 balls. First ball, he charged out a holder. Bat is in Borivali. The ball is in breach candy. Okay. Uske baad, he tried to get run out twice. Then he goes for a cut. He loses the bat. Bhaiya, 20-25 run chahiye. Khelo aaram se. The guy's fantastic, man.
He's the most exciting cricketer out there. Yeah, like also I enjoyed that with Kane Williamson. That very like. Yeah.
He's cool, man. He's cool.
He's awesome. So Sreel Pradhan said this, and I completely agree, which is that especially with the COVID bubble break, like I think they really need to do away with these handshakes at the end. Like ये जो team के बीच में जो end में होता है, I understand the sports spirit and all that stuff. Just like do away with it. Yeah, क्या बेकार में? Why are you trying to provoke something which is going to lead to worse things?
Yeah, I mean, look, you also have to see that the fact that they've gone on the field, there's going to be enough breakdown of boundaries and contact and all. So, theek hai, ball jayega bahar, you spray, you do all that. But if it, and also again, these are all cosmetic gestures, you know, like we're talking about earlier. Usko chhod do, just keep it less, because you've seen what 2 days ago, Team Natarajan, and then of course you lose the great 3D all-rounder Vijay Shankar, who, jokes apart, he would have started into Hyderabad's first 11, because they're just that bad right now. Sorry to say. But you have to be ready, and I think if teams don't think that this is a reality still, then they're living in some really different world. So just like you said, curb whatever you can, just to avoid whatever 5% chance of anything happening.
Dude, this 3D, I mean, even I do the 3D jokes. Like, it's so interesting. Shankar is
You have to.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a joke that came out of not him. Like, it's not like he said, I'm the universe boss.
Exactly.
It's like MSK Prasad. Yeah.
वही है, MSK Prasad ने बोल दिया, Ambati Raidu got so much more mileage out of it. But ulta, after one tweet, he said, I'm going to also leave, right? So, we can crack jokes, but yeah, Vijay Shankar didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things I want to talk about. Dude, yesterday I was really impressed by Rahul Tripathi, yeah. Because like he started off and like he always looks like even despite all the like, because he's not a power hitter like say a Venkatesh Iyer or whatever, that he just seems like, you know, when they talk about like I think Mark Wood was talking about this, where I think Rahul and Kohli were in partnership together in one of the ODIs in India. And he's like, dude, they were just hitting 2s, 1s, 3s, 4, whatever. And he's like, we just literally looked up at the scoreboard and one was on 100 and the other was on 85.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel the same way about Rahul, because eventually when you go through the strike rate, I think he was about par with Iyer.
Roughly. I think Iyer got his 50 in 25 balls, and he got it in 28. I mean, that's damn good no matter what it is. The good thing about, you know, Rahul Tripathi is that at least now he seems to, and again, like touch wood, he's getting like a fixed batting slot. I remember in 2020 when I think he made a late entrance. वो number 7 पे आया, फिर next match पे 3 पे था, फिर opening किया. Give guys like them, because look, there's obviously something there, and they have not played for India. Maybe he won't ever, you know. But if he's doing this consistently at the IPL level, it's good for him. It's good for his franchise, you know. And all these guys who have these shots, like the strike rate thing, is a very good point. He has the shots. There are times when even yesterday he swept one of the guys and he already got to 40. और मैंने कहा यार ये boundary पे catch हो जाएगा. The ball actually went, because, you know, as you watch the ball, it goes further. So not a lot of power, but a guy who can consistently pull off these shots, उसको खिलाओ यार. And I'm glad to see that they've given him that number 3 role, because KKR's main problem has been the stop order for a long time.
So you touched upon an interesting point, which is strike rates, right? Like, which is I think the complaint which a lot of cricket analysts like yourself, you said about even Gill, was the strike rate. And it seems like a lot of like Indian stars, which includes Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, and to an extent sometimes KL Rahul as well, is that they seem to take like okay, with Punjab Kings, okay, like now I know that the catch 22 they have is कि अगर हम end तक ना खेले तो हार जाएंगे. But you also got to trust dude. You have Nicholas Pooran in the side, who's more than capable. You have Fabian Allen, right? No, who? Yeah, Fabian Allen. Yeah,
exactly.
You have enough people to not put so much pressure on yourself. And also, I think if I was batting a number 5 for Punjab Kings, I would be like, hey, great job, but I also play. Yeah.
See, look, as regards to Punjab Kings, it's very simple. I have cracked it. If they want my services, they can get in touch. I won't even charge. Inko bus, Rahul or Mayank Agarwal, they just need to take the partnership to 99, and that will solve all their problems. The guys have put on 400 partnerships. Buggers have lost all 4 matches. So isko chodo yaar. And look, again, jokes aside, there is something in the water they drink, in the food they eat. Because when you have these 2 amazing openers who can score at 140 to 170 ke beach mein, and then put up 120 for no loss, and then lose a match like that, and you have Nicholas Pooran. Yes, Nicholas Pooran got 4 eggs, 4 ducks last season. Pointy, you know what he can do, which is why that loss seems really strange. But again, the strike rate, Rohit Sharma, we've not seen. In fact, I was saying this a couple of days ago. We've not seen that kind of a Rohit Sharma now for a couple IPL seasons. I think it gets overshadowed because the blooming team goes on and wins almost every other year, which is great. But we've not seen that explosive Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli's got a lot of flack, I know, even from experts and fans as well. And he has some diehard fans. Sorabh, yaar, 118, 120 pe nahi hoga. Then that's also putting pressure on someone, a young guy like Devdutt Padikkal. Virat Kohli, as the experienced batsman, he should be the one trying to score a little faster. This is what a lot of people are saying. But then again, look at someone like Shikhar Dhawan. Traditionally, you look at 135 cricket, itna khas nahi hai. But the guy gives you starts consistently, and he also finishes matches off, right? So I think a lot of people can learn things from Shikhar Dhawan. You know, tuk six, tuk six. Virat Kohli is now tuk out. You know, Rohit Sharma same thing, tuk out. That sounds really weird when I think about it, but just do something more, right? And like you said, back the guys behind. You know, back Puran, back your Deepak Hudas. Deepak Huda also, he was like the villain of the match for that shot he played. But these are guys who've done it. So I just think if you played international cricket like all these openers do, they clearly want to open. There's a reason that Virat Kohli wants to open for RCB so that he can open for the World Cup. If you've taken that stance, thoda tez karo, thoda zyada run banao yaar. That's my simplistic take on it.
And also in the World Cup, you're going to come against I mean, listen, so there's the Chattan of the West Indies, where everybody's going to be batting at like 170 probably.
Minimum.
Yeah. You can't have even one player going at 120 in the side unless like the pitch does something extraordinary.
Yeah, I agree.
And England and and also then Pakistan is angry with everybody. So it's like, yeah.
Did you see Shoaib Akhtar's video?
Which one? You'll have to be very specific.
No, the reaction to the ECB pulling out.
No, I actually didn't see it.
Just go see it from 2:55. He starts to use some Punjabi words and I forgot the word he used. It's not like a vulgar word, but you know, and then he says focus, anger, emotion, revenge, and he says this is going to show this will all show the results in the T20 World Cup. So dekhna 2:55 se. So I think Pakistan might even win this World Cup.
Yeah, wait, focus, anger, emotion, revenge.
Focus, anger, selectors, as I use these 3-4 words. Uske beech mein the words he's talking together don't matter. Just watch what he
focus,
says.
Emotion, anger, and revenge is fear. so
दिमाग है Sorabh, क्या बात है.
But
Shoaib is not that smart though.
No, but like, listen, okay, like, and by the way, I do feel for Pakistan cricket, okay? I'm like, okay, I think most of us have spoken about feeling for it. But again, by that logic, like, world cricket has done this to Pakistan, and so they deserve to win the T20 World Cup. I'm like, maybe then Afghanistan needs to deserve. Like, I'm genuinely supporting Afghanistan in the T20 World Cup. Like, I hope they somehow miraculously win. Like, I would lose it.
Because, I mean, obviously, like not to get too deep into it, but you know, there's a lot of focus over their cricket. You know, what's going to happen now with the ruling party they have there right now. I just think, look, all these guys, they have some great players, and the more these guys, they're all T20 mercenaries. They play around the world. What they gain from playing in every single league, I really hope that we see it. And look, I remember the 2016 T20 when they first came. You know, they beat West Indies. They really pushed South Africa. So they have it. But again, that was 5 years ago. And the progress that their players have made, they're definitely not walkovers anymore at any level.
I sincerely hope they win. Somebody, by the way, said that Joanne Laporta says Mayank scored at 167 strike rate, KL at 145. I agree. And also, I mean, they got a lot of, I think we are not taking away from the fact that it was the century partnership, but the fact that 4 century partnerships and you've lost each time, I mean, there's got to be something. There's got to be something there. And again, by the way, not taking away from the fact that both of them are incredible. Like, easily, I would say Dhawan and Shaw. I would have said Bairstow and Warner till last year, but like, easily this is the best opening partnership in the IPL.
I agree.
So Nilesh Yadav says, how do you see Gambhir's commentary? Sounds great on Super Chat. What do you think of Gambhir's commentary?
To be very, very honest, I normally watch things on mute for the last few years. I just do it unless I have something like I'm reading a piece which I think this person might say something, but I don't listen, man. To be very, 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 very honest.
You know what the most like I was sometimes you don't realize that cricketers know each other and they know the commentators, right? So I was on Akash Chopra's stream and I started going like, hey, Vivek Razdan seems like he has a lot of anxiety. Like, because no matter what is happening, like whether India's 300 for no loss or 156 for 9, he's like, bahut gambhir samasya. I'm like, dude, the 300 for no loss, he's still panicking, right? And then all of them had to come and say, no, he's a great man. Like,
yes. Yeah. I know that. I've been in that spot too as well. Bolte kuch, acha, okay, I get it.
Yeah. And by the way, that's an interesting to ask you, right? Because now you're with cricbuzz, right?
No, I'm not with them. I'm back with the Crick Info.
Yeah, cricket.
I was doing videos. I was doing videos with them until the IPL got postponed, and now we're back. And I'm doing it for IPL and for the T20 World Cup for them as a freelancer.
Awesome. So have you ever been in that exact same situation where you're talking to all these cricketers who know each other and we are YouTube creators and we are just like, yeah, and they're like, no.
Abhi, Sorabh, the reason why when you first asked me and I couldn't join your show a couple months ago for this same reason. So Akash had me be the co-anchor on his channel during this India-England series, right?
Yeah.
So for 4 test matches, I'm sitting there and look, Akash, Irfan, RP, Sanjay, Parthiv, Deep, basically everyone, Oja, Anjum Chopra, everyone from Star, barring VVS Lakshman, who, like Akash said, we couldn't afford him. Everyone who's with Star but was sitting Bela because the series was on Sony, had this fantastic idea, like, let's just sit in a room and do a watch along, right? Now, while it's fascinating to have access to these guys like unhinged, the fan, the YouTuber in me, it does come. And then I'm like, hang on, these guys, they hang out together behind the sets, So there were times, and hats off to them for putting up with me, but very politely, nahi dekhiye Jimmy bhai, aisa to nahi hai. Reality kya tha? They may have even agreed with something I said, but there definitely is that awareness and that respect that they're not going to really be critical. And I get it, it's fine. And as the odd one out, the guy who's never been played remotely anywhere near their level, I think I was also given that room to ask such questions. So, but it was fascinating for me to be there.
Yeah, I did one of those. It was actually really great fun because what I like about all of those people is that they're actually still polite. Like even if you say, I said something so significantly stupid. Like I think, and this is Joe Root at the peak of his powers in the middle of the test series. And I was like, hey, it's Rohit Sharma currently, based on current form, the best batsman in test cricket. And they both are, and all 4 of them are like, yeah, are you stupid? But they didn't say that. Like Akash Chopra genuinely tried to answer my question nicely. And I'm like, dude, that's so sweet. I really, and I by the way, I appreciate the fact that they back their friends. And I mean, and by the way, that's why I think somebody like you or you and me should be there because I think we are closer to the fan than they are. And
absolutely. And Akash said the same thing to me, which is when we were having talks about why, because I had to ask him, I'm like, look, do I even fit into your scheme? Exactly what you're saying, Sorabh. We need someone who's covered the game, who knows the game, but also who's detached from the world we are. And he kept saying, and it also applies to you and all the other guests he had, the way we watch, we see the game very, very differently. And Akash and even Deep was saying same thing. That we are far more attached to it than they are because they're seeing it not just through the lens of being experts and analysts, but also putting themselves in the players' shoes, which is why they cannot afford to be too critical. Whereas us, we also probably watch a lot more. They might just be watching India or one of the marquee series, but someone like me who watches pretty much any kind of live cricket, so they like that. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching that. I enjoyed the watch along actually better than the commentary that was happening. Like I was watching it on the side, and because they're also doing like stupid stories in the middle, and then Oza said, "Arey, you did, आपने ये किया उस time पे," and finally like मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Great banter, and exactly like you said, the fact that they know each other so well, and pretty much even from Akash to who retired there most recently, Parthiv, they've all played together for India more or less. So it shows when they all get together.
Dude, there was a point for I think 1 hour which was going on talking about club memberships. Like I think whichever the ground in England is, and they're like, "अरे ये members के लिए तो सब कुछ मतलब कुछ भी करना पड़ता है. हमें तो अभी membership मिल ही नहीं रही है." And then they're discussing for an hour. Yeah, Lodge. And they're discussing for an hour about how they've not got membership of this Dharamsala cricket say whatever it is. This is hilarious, dude.
No, good fun.
Yeah. Okay. If you're watching me up to about 700 views, let's get that up. Let's get the likes up as well. Aditya Jessel says, when was Sorabh with Akash? I've done, I think, a couple of those lives. It was great fun. Okay, back to the match. I really enjoy the fact that so far, the KKR has not required the services of Dre Russ or DK, and they've still like essentially. And again, in one situation, so obviously it's at 92, which doesn't count.
Yeah.
But it's like having like 2 aces and going like, yeah, I have a flush anyway. It's all good.
All because of this Venkatesh Iyer boy and and his long hair that's come in. But look, it's actually good that you also sort of come down into the middle order, because for me also, Karthik and especially Morgan, I don't know. I think it's very easy to say that the likes of Gill and Rana and Tripathi have been inconsistent, but how much cricket have they played at the international level as compared to these guys, right? So I think if KKR do stumble from here, and anything is possible because it's the IPL, Morgan and Karthik will have to step up. Look, Dre Russ is the guy's on a different level. He can arguably lay claims to being perhaps the greatest T20 player of all time.
Yeah.
And he's bound to have ups and downs. Like we've seen it in one match. He bowls De Villiers through the legs first ball. How many guys can do that, right? He takes 3 wickets, and the next match he gets hammered. So wo hai, but a lot of it comes down to DK and Morgan. So it's actually not a bad thing that these guys. I mean, we saw it yesterday again. Morgan kuch nahi karta yaar ye aadmi, right? वो 2 cap पहन के वहाँ पे खड़ा होता है mid off पे, does this. Very, very different Morgan that captains England, and a very, very different Morgan that captains KKR. Sorry, KKR fans, for being harsh on you guys. So it's actually not a bad thing that these guys are not having to bat right now. The flip side is, if they also have to bat in a knockout match, don't expect much. But let these guys at the top keep scoring runs, man.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Rana come in yesterday instead of like a DK or somebody. I was like, at least let them. Yeah,
does
even
DK,
though
does DK have a spot in this KKR team? We've seen the guy. I think barring number 9, 10, 11, he's batted everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So again, give the guy a bit more respect. He's a proven finisher. It's quite fixed role though. Maybe it's his choice because he's been a captain of the franchise. He's obviously the senior most player in there. But they've just never had stable batting lineups, and I don't believe it's that whole let's keep floaters, voters, and all. वो कुछ नहीं. आपको floaters चाहिए तो वो चप्पल ले लो. They have to have fixed roles for guys like them, just because they're so bloody experienced,
Floaters is a weird term because I imagine something else. Like when you say floaters, yeah.
That too.
So yeah, insulting things. By the way, they did a tactic which I don't think people have done in the IPL too much. Probably like once every year you do this tactic, which is opening exclusively with spinners. And that too with 2 quote unquote, like I would say Narayan is too much of a mystery spinner anymore. But but opening with 2 spinners, like I was watching this match and I'm like, is this happening in Bangladesh? What is going on? But
and also, Sorabh, sorry to cut you off. Exactly. Now you can do it, but you have Varun Chakravarti and you have Sunil Ryan, but you go to Nitish Rana before that. Also, I mean, I get the fact, he's also not a surprise. We've seen him bowl enough times in the IPL for the various friends. So that's not really a surprise anymore. And we saw 4 overs of spin. Uske baad he went straight to pace for the 5th over. So not quite sure what. And I think, Sorabh, that call was not necessarily Morgan's call. That could have been Dinesh Karthik's call as well. So right. I don't know. But a bit strange, yeah.
Yeah. And the first ball, I mean, again, Rohit Sharma, first ball, man, that was a beautiful shot. Yeah, this is such a stunning thing to start with. Dude, I am a big, I don't know about you, but I'm a massive Loki Ferguson fan. Like, I've been a fan of this dude for so goddamn long. And I'm always surprised when teams don't play him. I'm like, dude, if he's fit and you're not playing him, you might be a little out of your mind. Like, this is because he changes, like, even though he went for, I think, 2 overs 19, and then he came back at the death and just like completely turned it around. Could have been a player of the match. But but yeah, what do you think about like just having like a outright pace person in your side just to change the dynamics completely?
I think you hit the nail on the head. We saw this in 2020 IPL, where I think Ferguson was benched for 4 or 5 matches. He gets a game, forgot who or why he came in for. Yeah. But he got 4 for nothing, right? Boom, 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 and he does this. And guys like him, look, if you look at him, he's not as tall as a Bolt or a Saudi or a Cummins, But hala mein jaan hai, and then when he has that mustache, he's not shaved that mustache since he came. So he fully backs himself. कि भाई मैं ऐसा है, मैं ऐसा करूँगा. And there will be off days, but if you have him, especially with no Pat Cummins, if the guy is not injured, you bloody well play him in every single match you have because he does that. Also, just on the topic of really good New Zealand fast bowlers, also very glad to see that Mumbai Indians picked Adam Milne in the first match. Because this is a guy, I remember I think he came in 2013 or 14, and I remember he was talked about as this consistently 140 kph guy. Then he got injured, but he's been so good in that 100 tournament that they realized we have a guy who's in form. and he did outstandingly well. And then again, he had a bad match yesterday. So put him in that Lockie Ferguson situation. Expect a bad match every 2-3 games, but back these guys, because when they have that extra yard of pace, right, on those pitches, khilao inko.
Yeah, Adam Milne seems to be, and this is why sometimes I get disappointed with Hindi commentary, right? Like I tune into Hindi commentary expecting them to say "tumse milne" and do all these different puns on Milne, and I literally have been doing this. They've not done it. I'm just saying, listen, this is right there. It's right there as a shitty pun.
Bilkul. Akash does do a very good job though. He tries a lot.
Yeah. Dude, every time I try to get on Akash's show, I try and figure out a sort of poem about his name, and it's been received with him being very enthusiastic and the rest of the people going like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah.
So yeah, Milne is great. So a lot of questions actually come up about Mumbai Indians now, because I think every time Mumbai Indians loses, right, irrespective of how he's done or not, like Mumbai Indians fans immediately go to Krunal Pandya. Immediately, the first person like, yeah.
That's good.
What was it? It was like that, right? Like that, yeah. So who do you think? Because I think they've pretty much clearly said that it's also about Team India and not specifically Mumbai Indians, which is why we're keeping Hardik away or whatever it is. What do you think of that?
Look, I mean, Hardik Pandya to me is not in the Jasprit Bumrah league, but if there's one guy, and I'm saying this sort of from that perspective of 20 plus 25 years of future former Kapil Dev, and I hope that he's not fallen in the future former future Kapil Dev wala league, because वो लड़का जब मारता है ना, ऐसा कोई नहीं है. युवराज के बाद there's not been a natural hitter, right? Of course, the bowling has fallen away because he's had surgeries and injuries, right? But T20 World Cup ke baare mein, you just mentioned, India's picked 3 fast bowlers and 5 spinners. Your fourth seamer is such a distant Hardik Pandya because he's gingerly bowling. He hardly bowled in that Sri Lanka tour a couple months ago. If they're keeping him because they want to look at the T20 World Cup, then again, I don't agree with that, because if he's ready as a batsman, as a fielder, usko khilao, because there's a big difference between him and his brother. And I hope from Mumbai's perspective that they do get him back, because even with Kieron Pollard, every passing season the returns do start to diminish, so they really need him going, and I hope that we see him bowling in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, I think all Indians fans are waiting. Like it seems like a distant memory when he got that 5 against England. Like
seriously, it does. And how? And I think 4 of them came in one spell or something like that. No?
I remember seeing that spell and going like, yeah, man, this guy. And then after a point, like, what happened? And again, you understand, dude. Like, if you've been through surgeries and you're essentially doing arguably the most taxing thing on your body in the cricket field, which is fast bowling. It's a tough thing to do, man.
Again, so sorry to cut you off. Even when he was bowling those brief spells, he was bowling 140, Sorabh.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing a Robin Singh. He was up there. So he was the 5th layer to that bowling attack. So a huge loss. But like you said, understandable when you have so much surgery and wear and tear going on.
Yeah. So what do you think? Next time, because I have a feeling that Mumbai Indians will finally probably have to make some changes, because they are literally in the danger of slipping now. So who do you think they're going to do in the next whatever?
Look, I as far as the all-rounders go, you would expect that if Hardik Pandya is 90% fit, that they slot him back. Upar se, what do you do? I mean, look, yesterday also, Sorabh Tiwari, despite all the jokes, he got you a 50, and then he doesn't even he comes to bat at number 7 or something. First ball, he hits the ball straight. So it's like they have guys, but it just goes back to that strange thing that I see with T20 franchises, especially the IPL. Yaar, wo fixed number bahut kam log ka hota nahi hai. And just like guys like us who are 40, we know how hard it was to get a fixed number back in the late 80s and 90s. Trunk call wala. So isko dal do, So it's not about looking for who's going to come in, but using the guys who are in your 11 and giving them a bit more confidence. Like Sorabh, you got a 50. Yes, we lost the match, but we subtract your 50, and we wouldn't have got that farther up. So go bat a little higher. Small things like that, I think, would probably make more of a difference.
Yeah, people are saying Ishan Kishan, etc. Look, it's been 2 matches. Yeah,
that too.
I think it's a little abrupt to say that Ishan Kishan over Shikhar Dhawan is a bad choice for T20 World Cup. Dekhte hain, yaar, anything can happen.
And Sorabh, if we see this IPL's second dose, let's call it second dose, because second dose is a catchphrase of this of this year, it's like a new start, right? And Mumbai Indians, they always lose the first 2 matches when it starts. So they're probably saying, yeah, do haar gaye, koi baat nahi. Yes, we've fallen from 4 to 6, but watch them now go win 3-4 in a row.
Yeah.
Very possible.
The duo KKR is what it'll be called from now on. Okay. We have a super chat popping in from Pulkit Srivastav. Thanks a lot, man. He says, hello Sorabh sir, Jamie sir. You're calling me sir also. Wow, what respect for
Sir. Thank you.
Pak is blaming BCCI for New Zealand and England cancelling on them. They say that New Zealand has now joined the big three. What the three nations, India, England and Australia, are called together now apparently. Like, seriously, your thoughts?
Look, very, very easy to say that, this is very unfortunate and unfair on Pakistan, which it is. But we're not talking about a COVID threat. If a country's security team, whatever it is, you have to give them the professional courtesy that whatever they felt was credible. It may prove to be not credible down the line, but in that situation, and keep in mind, yes, it's been 18, 19 years. The last time a New Zealand team toured Pakistan, a bomb went off in their team hotel. Fleming and all those guys were moved to tears. While none of these players was there is that very real threat in their heads at least. So I want to get that out of the way. There's no point going on about why they left, and Imran Khan and Ramiz Raja can say what they want. This was not a COVID breach. It was something else. Let's get that out of the way. Now, yes, Pakistan also did tour England twice in the times of COVID. The Pakistan cricket board and team have done pretty much whatever has been asked for them. They went to New Zealand. Wahan bhi thoda controversy hua tha. I just think based on that, it would have been good to at least see some kind of a tour happen. But when a team like New Zealand pulls out, was it a surprise that the ECB also pulled out? Not at all. And unfortunately, how far this is going to set back Pakistan cricket, we don't know. Heart goes out to them, their fans, because they really had now started to watch international teams come back. I think the South Africa team going there was a huge thing. New Zealand, England, had they gone, it would have been great. But bottom line, you have to back the decision of the New Zealand board and the New Zealand government. It's a fact, bhai.
Yeah, like I'm trying to imagine, like if the situation was for, like, say India, let's just say as an argument, I would definitely be pissed. But like
absolutely,
and they're completely within the rights to be pissed. And in fact, like oddly enough, like this, like that fiery Pakistan side for international cricket is great, dude. Like, so if in T20 World Cup where they are like, I'm imagining the handshakes at the end of the match, like with New Zealand or England or whoever. With India, though, I think they'll be fine because we still like they still seem to have a nice relationship with across the board historically. But yeah, I mean, so I think this makes it more exciting, and I don't blame them. But like I think as an Indian fan, if the same thing had happened here, I'd be like, yeah, I get it, man.
And we also have to address the issue that this does happen when, I mean, I'll say it because I'm white. I'm Indian, but I'm white. When the white teams do get to make such calls and they get away with a lot more. It's Asian teams. If this happened, I mean, it's like what happened with that whole Jarvo fool, right?
Yeah.
And this was said on by every commentator. I think everyone expert who has a brain, that had this been an Indian or an Asian situation, imagine what would have happened, right?
Yeah.
The white team may have just packed off, right? So there are always two ways to look at things, and correctly said, you have to feel for them. And if it had been India, we'd all been pissed off, or any team. But just because it was a security threat, you really can't be second guessing that, no matter what the nature of that threat.
Dude, so Jarvis apparently he's gone on to do like more things exactly like that, like him crashing other these things and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, now this is like led to him. Like, so you know what? I think as a photographer, right? If there's a streaker or if there's somebody invading the pitch, I completely now understand why they just don't put the cameras on them at all.
Yep.
Because that's what they want. So I'm like, mat karo, but just don't give this person the bhav that they're craving. Yeah, though when I saw that how much popularity he got, in my head I was like, yaar, ye YouTube subscribers ke liye acha rehta hai yaar, 3 lakh ho jate wahi pe.
YouTube ka Sorabh, he has an agent in India, okay, who was sending mails to Cricinfo and CricBuzz after the first appearance saying, would you like an exclusive interview with him? Desi dimag to chalega na aisa, let's milk it for all it's worth.
Dude, I'm like, forget CricBuzz and Cricinfo. I'm actually surprised like at Times Now or Republic didn't interview him and then find
he came on Sports Talk. He was there.
Oh, really? That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. And what did they ask him? Did they ask him?
I didn't see it. I just saw one clip, like someone put. I was like not amused from the start, because
completely.
These are not these times. And again, I said this also on Akash's show as well. Yeah, this was not your traditional half drunk, pasty, fat, naked Englishman jumping over the fence, right? Oh, I get that. We've seen it. This was a guy who came in, who was. You've seen cricket in England. The last 10 years, they've got this entourage of security guards who sit there looking very thing, back to the cricket, watching you hawkishly, right? How did this cartoon 3 times have someone film him as he's padded up saying, "I'm going on now"? All the fans in that section, so no one knew about this. I don't buy that. Second of all, after every ground, he's being given something. You've gone to Oval, Trent Brink, and no one has done anything with you. Oh, he's been banned from this venue. You have to see it happening. He's gone to the Olympics when what's that diver Tim Daly was diving. He's gone there as well. So he repeat offender hai ye. YouTube pe hai uska. He went to the Olympics in the Rio Games. He's there. He breaks in his speedo tighty whities, goes up to the top thing. That Tim Daly, whatever his name is, dive. He comes there and then he's pulled down. So it's not like he's come out of the blue, right? So ye hai. Yeah. So but I'm saying in COVID times, it was not funny once or twice. And had this been an Indian guy, socho kya hota? That's my.
Yeah, so I mean, very few people knew this, that Tim Daly stitched him out of a sweater. Javos is actually, isn't Tim Daly known for knitting?
I think so. Yeah. You're right.
But I had zero patience for this, man. Completely like.
Not in these times,
Yeah, and also the context of it. Like if it was an old British lady, right? Like, I would be like, yeah, ma'am, come on, good job.
It's like the queen. It's the queen. She's finally let her hair down.
That'll be the greatest thing. The queen decides that to take this thing from Jarvis, and she just starts showing at sporting events and puts the crown on. Which end are you bowling from, Queen? I'm bowling from my own end. This is perfect. Yeah,
I run this country.
Okay, Shamik. Okay, we just have 6 minutes more because I have a flight to catch. Let's take a normal question. A normal chat, sorry. Shamik Borkar says, Jamie, have you seen Sibley's aggressive batting in the county championship? Man has been hiding these shots from all of us. Have you been watching?
I have not. I was watching it. I was watching it before the England-India series on YouTube, because there's a phase when all the channels, all the counties had their own YouTube stream. But I've not gone back and seen that since Sibley was dropped. Somewhat unfairly, I would also have to add.
Oh, you think so?
There was a stat. One player had played all 22 of England's test matches prior to that. All the other 10 had been dropped. Dom Sibley was the only guy. And guys like him, you have to understand that इनको एक specific role के लिए लिया गया था. And when it starts, you need to back them, because frankly, there aren't that many test quality openers going around, So I thought it was a bit harsh, but again, they did that, and then all of a sudden the team changed. So, ठीक है, कोई thinking होगा उनका, but.
I like that other guy. What's his name?
Burns.
No, the other dude. What's his?
Hasim Hamid.
Hasim. Oh, dude, a big fan of him, man. Like ever since, because I remember that completely, dude. So they kept showing photos of him randomly, and I'm like, "Ye kaun banda hai?" And then I remember I'd seen him there. Correct. Grow karke, and he looks amazing, dude. He looks like an explorer out to like find form. I mean, dude.
He found some form. He was bowled first ball on comeback after 5 years, but he got some form back. Bilkul.
Yeah. By the way, Indian women playing really well against Australia right now. 65 for no loss in 9 overs. Go watch that, man. Yeah, this is. I'm literally going to watch that on the way to the airport. Okay, last couple of things. Today we, of course, you know what I really enjoy, like Virat Kohli in press conferences after a match, is a lot like he's become very like, what's the word? Controlled.
But can you elaborate? You're talking about press conferences in the Zoom era, no?
In general. So I enjoy Rohit Sharma in press. I love Rohit Sharma in press coverage. Too good. Like even yesterday, like, I don't want to talk about it. It's okay. We don't talk about it.
This one
like,
also.
I love this guy.
Superb.
Like he's so like everything about Rohit Sharma is so eminently likable. Yeah. Like it's just Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about today's match. Today is CSK versus RCB. How do you think this is going to go down today?
Southern Derby. Anything. I mean, look, these are just two cracking teams, especially teams led by Dhoni and Virat Kohli. You just expect something.
Yeah.
Chennai just continue to just keep on surprising people despite the vault of experience that they have. And I just it's tough to say because the day that Raina is walking in at number 3 and has to do something. And I mean, how bad did he last in that 1 over in the last match? Right? Usko kya, kaise out kiya usko? I'm like, yeah, he's gone back to 2008-9. So there are some cracks in that side. I just feel that it's too far. We've come along a long way without Virat Kohli making an impactful innings. I think us bande ke andar jo aag hai, I think he's gonna, if they bat first, he's gonna get a big innings, which probably should put the match out of CSK's way. That's just my gut feeling. But all of my predictions end up being the opposite though.
Yeah, you're the opposite of Snail Pradhan says that our predictions have been going right. So maybe you're the opposite.
Akash Chopra also is fairly good with his prediction. Though he says he's off, he's just being modest. He gets his predictions about 75% are right. So.
Yeah. So okay, I want to talk about Dhoni's form because Dhoni's form has been like really dicey for like 2 years maybe now. Like it's
So that's a good thing you've raised, Sorabh. And I just want to ask you and anyone who backs Chennai or backs Dhoni, do we really need to expect Dhoni to be scoring runs right now? And I'm just going to put that out there, right? You can argue that yaar wo Dhoni hai, but ye wo Dhoni nahi hai. I just think Chennai fans, like, take my words. I mean, like, don't get angry, no. You and your team need far more out of Dhoni, the captain and the keeper, which we saw in that first match, right?
Correct.
The way, yes, you can say that Rituraj Gaikwad ke 88 ke bina run nahi bante, but it takes a certain skill to take a 156 and make it seem like 206, right? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Dhoni which has got you this far. Back him then. Don't expect him to come out. He might do it in 1 match, 2 matches, but it's showing he's not that Dhoni. I think if you have a Curran, Jadeja, Bravo, send him ahead and bank on maybe 2 out of 10 matches. Dhoni does something, and I think that's a very, very reasonable thing to expect from Dhoni. Now we'll cue all the comments. Hey, Dhoni hater, aisa kuch nahi hai, bhai. The guy's 40 years old. Let's just cut him some slack.
Yeah, and there's a value. Like I think even Michael Vaughan, when I spoke to him about his Test career averages versus his averages as a captain, he's like, dude, it fell by 10%, but you got to look at it from the POV of that other people's went up by 15. So I've done my job, and I think like that's that would be the case with Dhoni currently. Like not ever before. Like abhi Mike Brearley ban gaya. Like it's like your record is not as important as your captaincy.
Mike Brearley with the valid option of him actually playing to Virender Sehwag type innings, right? But ab wo 2 tha, pehle shayad wo 6 tha. Now it's down to 2, and I think it's totally fine because Chennai have a lot of players who I think deserve to frankly bat at numbers 5, 6, and 7 ahead of MS Dhoni. And Dhoni, the captain, is what you really need in the IPL right now, more than Dhoni, the batsman.
I've been thinking about this. Okay, like in this auction that happens, right? Like imagine a situation where Rituraj Gaikwad and Padikkal land up in the same team as openers. Like that would be like literally like a preview of the future. It would be amazing to watch. Like,
absolutely. That's a good thing you've raised because they have something. There's another meme or tweet I saw that in some 14 IPL matches, Gaikwad has like 5 or 6 man of the match awards, right?
Yeah.
That says something, you know. So
yeah,
awesome to think of these 2 guys batting together.
Superb. Jamie, thanks a lot for your time. Anything you'd like to promote? Of course, your YouTube channel is there. I will put that in the link. I've already put that. I'll put it in the pinned comments. Anything else?
There. My wife Meha, who's also a sport journalist, we have a separate cricket channel called Cricket Fables with Meha and Jamie. A lot of comments have been coming. Yaar, aap log us pe kyun nahi kar rahe ho? Because, and I've said this, it's because we were contracted with Cricinfo and I was doing it. We just couldn't do it. Now things have changed. So I've just started doing, from the 3rd match onward, we're doing daily reviews. Thoda wahan bhi jao, thoda like karo, share karo. Baki, that's, everything is all good. I'm on your show. Isse bahut khushi hota hai mujhe.
Dude, it's always fun times talking to you because like, I mean,
likewise,
now, yeah, like now I'm just imagining in my head, I'm imagining Rishabh Pant as a spider cam, and that's a great image to just leave. Where you're like, hey, lollipop. Oh, that's just genius.
And watch him like fall once and flip and then get back. It's fun. The guy can't walk. He can't walk straight. So forget climbing a rope, man.
Dude, People talk about Kane Williamson and they're like, I don't think there's a more likable cricketer in world cricket right now. It's probably Rishabh Pant. I would say Dre Russ, actually, like close enough, like just for likability.
वो भी है, but he can be a bit, like Mr. T wala intimidating. Pant को देख के, I remember the fourth test, Pant came in clean shaven. ये तो लाला जी का बेटा लग रहा है अचानक, like one shave can change you so. Like, he's just a fantastic guy to watch, man. So
yeah, to tie things up, he didn't get it from the Gillette ad. He shaved himself. It's just to say, just a couple of things before I watch. Please do support the show. Tomorrow is going to be Anu Menon. On Monday is going to be Sohail Chandok. I'm going to be in Bangalore tonight. I have a show at Boho. Tomorrow I have a show at Vapor. Day after I have a show at Aurum Brewworks, and then there's Delhi and Gurgaon and Hyderabad. So tickets are on saurabh.com. Do come and check it out. Jamie Alter, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Thanks a lot for coming. Really appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream. Thanks to all my mods. Thanks to Raghav. Thanks to Dhanush. Thanks to Sharanya, everybody who tuned in, all the super chatters. Really appreciate it. Ending the stream now. Thanks a lot. Take care. Love you all. Marry me. Good.